With the release of episodes 10, 11, and 12, we have finally wrapped up the series of Andor Season 2, and it has been an amazing, amazing accomplishment for the fans of Star Wars. Now, look, I gotta say, this show has meant so much to me personally because it's added so much weight to the franchise. Every single aspect of Season 2 has been building to create intensity, and for something that has preluded the original trilogy, A New Hope, that came out in 1977, something that has meant so much to so many people, and to see the reaction of the fans that have watched Andor and looked at it and gone, this has made everything mean more. I gotta say, they've done it actually beautifully. And now with the 3-episode drop every week, which personally, I love this. I think it is absolutely the way to go for future Star Wars. I love a 3-episode drop. It's given me so much to binge, but still making me want more. But what's important about this is they've released it in arcs. And this arc has been defined by Luthen Rael, or Luthen Rael, however you want to say it. Luthen has been the main banana in this big one, and it is kind of the death of Luthen. Now, one person that I would like to compare Luthen to is Icarus. Everybody knows the tale of Icarus, the man who flew too close to the sun. But this time with Luthen, he flew too close to danger, which was the Empire. He tried to control too much. He tried to be the center of the rebellion. Now, even the rebellion later on treats him like he is an imperialist, like he's a part of the Empire, like he's some disgusting, discombobulated version of what the rebellion want to be, but they don't realize the importance of this character. Now, in episode 10, it was absolutely all Luthen. We got to see Luthen confronted by Dedra, and she showed her, her vicious nature, something that she went completely off the books to do. I mean, she overtook that one little fucking prancy guy, that one little dude who was just like, I think you spoke it out of line. She took over that guy, literally was just like, no, you are not taking this from me. I'm going to be the one to take down Luthen. And in the end, she did. In the end, she was the one that took down Luthen, but he went on his own terms. If I was going to define episode 10 in one, and I really think this was one of the best episodes of this whole series, mainly because it ups the stakes for everyone in the next two. You couldn't have the depth in the next 2 episodes without this one. Yes, it's easy to say that because obviously you need every other episode previously in order to get to the end. But it means so much more that Luthen sacrificed everything in the process that he was burning his own house down. He was confronted by the devil himself. He stood strong and he went out on his own terms. As he was removing every bit of information, all data that could lead back to anyone that had helped him throughout the years, it came to this moment. He walked out. He didn't have a wig. He walked out. He didn't have his fancy clothes and his, kind of pompous attitude and his persona that he put on. He was Luthen, and he knew that she was coming in here with ill intent, and I loved it. It raised all of the stakes for me. I looked at this and I was like, man, what's he going to do? How's he going to get out of this? I put the word in the thumbnail of this episode, sacrifice, for this reason. Luthen sacrificed all for the rebellion. Everything that he's got. Now, I put a reel out on my Instagram where I made a little bit of a speech for, kind of for Andor, but very much for the fans of Andor and the fans of this whole this whole series, something that has been so completely different to everything that we've been used to. But what I talked about was how courage and empathy is not enough to be good. I know it's so easy to be bad. It's the first thing you can do. If you see someone broken down on the side of the road, the easiest thing to do is to drive past them. It takes sacrifice to be good. And it takes sacrifice in that moment with the car broken down on the side of the road to stop and to help. And that's what Luthen did. That's what he did for the rebellion. What was a burning fire, something that showed its incompetence in later episodes, which I will talk about. Everything that he did, being the puppet master of this end part of the show, the start of the rebellion being puppeted by Luthen himself, and only him. Even the sacrifice of everyone around him, all of his little workers, people who are not just blatantly following him for the cause, but following him because they know what he's doing. You can trust that he will make the decision that is right. Be that good for you or bad for you, it is right. And God, to have a character like this, to have someone who is so incredibly built into the Star Wars DNA, but in a way that you wouldn't expect. How do you expect to have someone who is of Palpatine quality? This is someone that has ripped the robes off Palpatine and worn them himself with pride, but has used that power for good, to manipulate, to control, but for good. It's an incredible juxtaposition to everything that we've seen before, and I loved this episode. I loved everything to do with this one. I think what was so beautiful about it, not only was all of the framing gorgeous, and framing throughout the last 3 episodes was absolutely incredible, but the music in this was so telling. It was so absolutely telling of everything that was important in this scene. Important in everything. Because when Luthen took his life, and yes, he could have done it in a better way, slit your throat, buddy. What are you doing? I mean, like, yeah, okay, maybe he wanted to have that final little, ha-ha, you didn't get me. They came in. Everybody's waiting outside. I don't know why. I mean, like, Dedra, this is her ego. This is what I'm talking about the dark side, how stupid it is. Because down to everything, as organized as they are, as powerful as they are, as controlling as they always will be, they are fueled by their ego. They are fueled by their attempt at being great, at being the next big guy. It's why all Sith Lords fail, because they have to be better than their master. They have to be better than everything that went before them, when it's just not possible. They don't realize that success is not just being better. It's being the best that you can possibly be. Now, on paper, that might not seem like it's better than anything. But for you, when you stand back, dying, your final breath, you can look at yourself and say, I made a difference. That's what's so important. And I think this show just embodies everything to do with that. And I'm obsessed. I was such an Andor hater in the first season. I thought, what is this? I don't need to watch this. This is not something that's going to bring me in. I mean, like, why am I watching the second banana of this show that is a kind of like an offshoot of my Star Wars? My Star Wars, everything that I love. This is nothing like it. There's no lightsabers. There's no amazing force techniques. Like, what is this? Now, obviously, okay, don't like, I know you're probably sitting there going and typing in the comments, well, there was a Vader at the end and he used the force. I get it. But for the vast majority of that movie, it was nothing. So why am I watching a show that is nothing about nothing, trying to be everything? And God, I was wrong. I was so wrong, because the moment I watched the second season, I absolutely knew that this show is everything that the Star Wars fans needed. Now, there's a few things that I want to talk about before I want to get to episode 10. Sorry, episode 11. Now, who else knows? Sorry, I didn't say episode 10, make it stop, okay? Yeah, sure. Like, that was beautiful episode. We get into episode 11, but before that, I do want to talk about something that is so poignant for me, so impactful. Tony Gilroy, the director, and I mean, he did help out at the end of Rogue One, but he wasn't the big guy in Rogue One. He's the big guy in Andor itself. He's the one that created the story. He wrote all of this himself. He wrote everything to do with it. He directed it. He's a powerhouse of a director and just a creator in general. And what he wrote was something that was so beautifully summed up Star Wars itself from a director's point of view. He talked about the fan base, and he talked about the reaction to Andor. He talked about the reaction to everything to do with any aspect of Star Wars now. And it's not that the Star Wars fans can be fit into one big bubble. No, I mean, you can't. How many fans do you know? The fans that I mean, anyone that's watching this right now who looks at it and they go, yeah, I agree with him here, but I can't join this love for this or that. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be specific. It's so important to understand the multiple facets of Star Wars fans. And that is what he did. He understood that Star Wars fans are not going to like this as much as they like the original trilogy. I've seen that with so many creators. I mean, like, there've been a few that have kind of pressed my buttons just a little bit. I mean, like, they know it's kind of rage bait at this time, but it's like, you know, just shut down all of Andor is the same thing as the Andor fans that shut down the rest of Star Wars, saying that this is and only will be the last of Star Wars. And it's like, yeah, I don't agree with any of it. There's so many facets. And that's what made everything in episode 11 and 12 so important. Is because I think for those people who are in that, they realize in that very moment that everyone can be fans in their own way. And Andor Season 2 is a perfect depiction of this. Look, Episode 11 was very much about the Imperial side. It was about Dedra and Krennic and kind of fitting Krennic in a little bit more than what I did expect to see him more. To be fair, I mean, like, yes, it was important that we didn't. Why? Because it meant more when we did see. Sorry, I just choked. It meant more when we did see him, okay? So when we saw Krennic in every scene, he was tough, he was scary, he was impactful. Every single time he added to the persona that was so important to Rogue One. Yes, if you flesh that out a little bit more, sure, you would have probably seen a lot more of a beautiful character building and so on, but you don't need that. That's the point of Rogue One. We don't need more of our favorite characters. It's why we don't see Vader every time. Like, if you did, you wouldn't think of him that highly. You wouldn't be that scared of him. Something like that hallway scene at the end of Rogue One would never be anywhere near as important. Krennic in this one was scary as fuck. He was someone who I was just like, good Lord. The moment where we see Dedra okay, basically, you guys have seen the episodes, you understand what happened. And if you haven't, I'll do a little bit of an explanation, just a tiny bit. Basically, Dedra was, so the guy who was with Luthen, he went into Dedra's system and was tapped into it for about a year or two, right? He didn't say anything, but then the time when he talked to Luthen about the Death Star plans, basically he was on for about 16 hours and they logged that. Now, when all of them are looking at the data, they think that it's Dedra and they put her in an ISB kind of holding cell. Krennic went in there to talk to her. And at that point, he turned off the recording devices because no one can track and trace everything to do with this Death Star. And it just, it makes it so impactful. I mean, the Death Star is a super weapon, sure, that's no moon. I understood the severity of what it meant to have a Death Star, to have a weapon of mass destruction, something that could completely obliterate planets with a press of a button. Crazy. Scary, but it meant so much more now because how many millions and billions of people galaxy-wide don't know anything to do with this Death Star? How many people understand the severity of what's going to happen because of this device? Krennic turning it off, Dedra being put in the kind of being put through the ringer a little bit. It was terrifying. And it meant so much to see this character who is so dedicated, so involved in the Empire. The same as Cyril, her partner, Cyril. I mean, both of them, the tragedy that is there. I mean, looking at it, you definitely see how she acts and go, in that last moment, everything that happened with her, that very last moment, you look at it and you go, did she regret it? Did she regret how she did it and where she ended up? I mean, in the end, it was her fault. She was the reason why we did it, but I can't help but feel bad. God, That's what's so incredible about these kind of episodes. Something that can churn your feelings and make you feel like for this person who you've hated can be so loved, and you can be so caring of this person. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm a little bit of a softie at heart. Maybe, yeah, I understand that. That's something that I might, be a little bit different to most people with. But one thing that I have to say, which has been, for me personally, the most important part of this, yes, okay, we get the Morse code message out there. Clayla, also that whole background with Luthen and Clea, gorgeous. That was everything that I needed to see to trust that Luthen wasn't a bad guy. It was there. Because how do you leave at the end? See how he acts with everyone. He literally shot his ISB undercover informant. Like in the heart, straight away. He was trying to pull a little bit on Luthen, but he was a cold, heartless killer. How do I feel bad for him? It's because I know in the end, he only made those decisions because he cared. He only cared about what was good for the rebellion. But to see him with Clea, his daughter, really. And she made that little bit of a comment, I guess that means I'm your daughter now. It's beautiful. It's beautiful because Luthen deserves that. Someone who he trusts to be able to do that in the end. Knowing that after everything, you can just rely on this one person to break into a highly secured hospital and make sure that your sacrifice is held up to its highest regard. Clea will forever go down in the books as one of the most beautifully written characters, one of the most tragic endings. Yes, okay, I know she didn't die, but to kill your father for the greater good of the galaxy. How many people could stand here and look at you deep in the eyes and say, I will sacrifice everything and anything that I've got and I've ever loved for this one chance? Not even a guarantee, a chance to be right. It's sacrifice after sacrifice after sacrifice. And it's beautiful. And to watch her at the end, to be so stressed about, can she do it? Can she break into this prison, into this highly secured cell and come out successful? I was on the edge of my seat. I watched all of them in succession. Every single one back to back. I couldn't miss it. What I loved about that as well is they played so perfectly into the next episode. Yeah, sure, you have to have the whole intro, what happened before, and I get that. And I like that they added stuff from previous episodes so that you could just kind of get a little bit of every detail that you need. And I love that. I really do love that about it. But to play everything like one big movie, it really felt like Clone Wars Season 7, the final arc. I loved that. Loved it so much. But to go from high stress with that Morse code situation, on the secured line, to just happy. It's a hard achievement. Genuinely, it's something that not a lot of people can do, and it's something that we've never been able to see in any Star Wars. All of it, sure, it's trivial, there's a lot of jokes, and it breaks the tension, and I guess it's hard to do that. But to have something like this piece of fiction that is so eloquently written in a way that will tear every bit of emotion and just rip it right out of your gut and just display it on screen, I love it. To see Cassian know that this means this final bit right here with Morse code, I get that the rebellion's going to hate this, but I need to be there for Luthen. Gorgeous. After everything that he's done, he's confronted Luthen about Bix. He's literally, because of Luthen, Bix is on another planet. Safe. But on another planet away from him, because without him in the rebellion, nothing would have happened. The Death Star plans never would have gotten there. He needs someone to do the job. And oh my God, Cassian. I mean, like, everything that I hated him for in Rogue One is so perfectly fleshed out to make me understand his choices. I'm going to watch Rogue One. I might actually do next week's episode on Rogue One. Well, I'm just like, I need to watch it with everything that I feel now. I need to watch it and experience Cassian and experience everything that happened to create the resistance. Oh, God. But I want to hark back on that point that I made earlier. It's so strange that the resistance, or the rebellion, I guess, sorry, not the resistance, the rebellion, it's so against Luthen. It's so against anything that is going to attempt to use any bit of technology, advice, anything to be better. They're so dogmatic. And it's what made me realize about the downfall of the New Republic later on. I mean, yes, sure, obviously the rebellion wins against the Empire, but I think that's mainly because of the Empire being too egotistical. I mean, so caught up in your ego that you forget to see the little things. You think that on a grand scheme, you're the master puppeteer, you control all, but you do not investigate the cracks in the pavement. Because that right there, those spots, those little marks of weakness are where plants grow. That is where the rebellion can grow from. And from plants, from seedlings, that little spark, it will grow into a plant that will absolutely take over the whole path. And it's gorgeous. Oh, it's just everything about that is so poetic to see the fall of the New Republic at the same time as witnessing the strength of the rebellion. They do not have within them the power to be better. They do not have every bit in them to control and to govern in a way that is right. For what they think, they are so dogmatic in their way that they need to just reiterate the Republic from previous. They don't think that because the Republic was weak, that the Empire grew so strong. They have to be the new Republic, the better Republic. We'll instigate everything that the Republic did, but make it better, make it good. It's not possible. It's not possible. And God, I loved it. I loved it. I think the costume designs were amazing. I mean, like I'm currently in the process of making a Mandalorian outfit. I've just gotten all of the sewing patterns and guides for the whole armor suit. And I've got to say, I'm looking at things from a cosplay point of view. I mean, I would love to do that ISB kind of armored guy, that armored troop. I loved it. I mean, like I've kind of got the mustache for it. So it's like, I would love to do that. That's such a cool cosplay and it's so easy to do. And it's like to add depth in that way to create and spark imagination. I saw today, I've had time. I really wanted to think. I wanted to pontificate about everything in this episode. And I really wanted to think heavily about it because I want to give you guys my genuine opinion, my genuine review. I was thinking about it genuinely, looking at it, going, every aspect of the Star Wars fan base has been covered. Every aspect of lore to cover every single, every new character, every single bit of music. There's something for every fan in this bloody show. I mean, this franchise itself is the most eloquently designed galaxy. That's why shows like this can exist. It's why shows like The Mandalorian can exist. It's amazing. I think K2SO taking down the ship, it's so, like, it kind of did confuse me because I'm like, if he's so important now, and if he's so powerful now, what happens in Rogue One that he's taken down seemingly so easy? I mean, I say that because it's like, he's so indestructible here. That was my only weak bit. He's so indestructible. Why is he taken down in that office? I mean, not really in the office, kind of in that like reception bit when he's like, for the rebellion. I just, that kind of confused me, but I was okay with it. I was okay with it because K2SO, he was vicious, and especially into this episode 12. Now, episode 12 was called Jedha, Kyber, Urso. Now, I got to say, I mean, like, I kind of want to transition into this one kind of a little bit on the same path because K2SO was the main talking point. You could literally pause that at the end, or I mean, you could just like get rid of every bit of intro and you could put the episode 12 right after episode 11 and it would have worked perfectly. I think him using the body as a shield was so dark, someone that meant so much to all of us and the rebellion and everything to do with the height of Dedra's kind of arrogance. This guy who is trying to be better. With him at the helm, the Empire would have succeeded. And K2SO is just using him as a body shield. Like, come on. How do you get better than this? I mean, like, look, I gotta say, Saw Gerrera, I mean, I don't like him. I don't like him. I think in this one, when you're seeing the flashbacks, because it was very much, this was flashbacks between everything that was happening to Cassian and then everything that was happening around the round table with Bail Organa. You had Saw Gerrera, you had Mon Mothma, all the big dogs, Admiral Akbar, all that kind of stuff, right? You had the big dogs of the rebellion right there, and I hated Saw Gerrera because it just showed how much he wasn't a part of the rebellion. He was everything that Luthen was. Sorry, where he was trying to be everything that Luthen was. I mean, like, it just failed miserably. He's a terrible character, terribly designed, and he's someone that is absolutely the crutch of the rebellion. I hated him so much. But I gotta say, in the final remarks of this show, which was very much that smooth transition into Rogue One, I gotta say, Genevieve O'Reilly, beautiful performance. Diego, is it Luna? I think it is. I really hope I'm getting that right. He's, beautiful, impeccable performance. When you're looking at him in the doorway of his home and right in the middle, that's the symbol of the rebellion. He is the messenger. I wrote that in the end here because I wanted to make that point. From the Force healer to now, Cassian is the messenger. He is the path of the Force. He is granted every single bit of luck so that the Force can guide good to take over the bad. Oh, I'll get into the part with Bix at the end, but I do want to say, the rebellion is unorganized and unwilling to compromise. It's ridiculous to look at the way they acted and how they reacted to certain things. It's very telling of their downfall in the New Republic. I think the ISB director killing himself and his friend allowing him to do that is beautiful. It was beautiful because, without allowing anyone to make a mistake, you're never truly going to grow forward. That's the reason why the Empire got so strong anyway. They failed and they learned from their failures. So what's the difference now? They're not allowed to fail. And without being able to fail, you can never pick yourself back up again. And that's the one thing that the rebellion had over them. They could fail and try again because that spark of hope allowed them to do so. I think, to see Cassian's last moments in Rogue One, that was one of the most, incredible moments because of the final bit with Bix. Cassian didn't, and I saw this online, so I have to give credit. There's a creator on, I can't remember his name. I saw on Instagram this one reel about it, but it's like Cassian didn't kiss Jyn Erso for one reason. And that's Bix Killeen. He didn't do it because she, above everything, meant more to him than the rebellion. But he had to do what he needed to do so that the rebellion could survive, the rebellion could take over the Empire, and he could rest in the end with Bix. And to see Bix have his child, God, I sat there. I didn't even cry. It was just too gut-wrenching to cry. I was emotional, but in a deeper level, because I knew that if he saw what she had, he never would have done it. And without him making that sacrifice, the rebellion never would have won. The Death Star never would have been taken down. We never would have had the Ewoks do that. Yup. But nothing would have been anywhere near as important. That's what Andor is. Andor is sacrifice. Andor is the rebellion. From that perfect transition to Rogue One, I have to say to all of the cast and crew, if any one of you are watching this, thank you. Thank you for creating pure art, genuine cinema. Thank you from the bottom of my heart as a Star Wars fan for creating something that I will genuinely treasure for the rest of my life. As a Star Wars fan, I live and breathe this franchise, and what you have done, I will never forget. Thank you. Next week, make sure you tune in. I'm going to be doing Rogue One. It's just, I'm getting a bit emotional thinking about it. This is everything that the rebellion needed to be. This is everything that Disney has done right. And I want to end on one thing that I shared on my story. So many people over the years have hated on Kathleen Kennedy, myself included. I haven't personally called her out saying how much of an asshole she is or anything like that. I never will do that. She's someone who I've never met before. How could I talk ill about someone that I've never met? I don't know her intentions. I don't know her. But from what everyone has said in the cast and crew of this, she's the reason why this show exists. She's the reason why everyone can do anything they do. Thank you, Kathleen Kennedy. Thank you. I know that the sequels were shit. Move past them. Thank you for allowing stuff like this. For allowing The Mandalorian. I hope you don't meddle in The Mandalorian anymore, but thank you. I love every bit that you've done for the Star Wars franchise, and I appreciate you. To all of the fans who have watched my whole time doing this Andor breakdown, thank you so much for watching. Phineas, I saw your message on there, and I got to say, just a little bit, I did put up on my Instagram. No one responded. It's okay. You don't have to. If anyone wants to comment what they thought about Rogue One, please let me know. I saw, Phineas, that you loved it, and I'm so glad you did. That was something that was so important for me. If for anyone who doesn't know Phineas, an amazing, amazing person who always talks in this channel. So many amazing people that follow this one, but Phineas, you should listen to some of the incredible remarks that Phineas makes. It's just, it puts everything in perspective, and it's beautiful. And I hope if you look in the comments down on this one, if you've listened this far, look down, see what Phineas posts, if Phineas posts at all. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Next week, I'm going to be doing a Saturday job. I love you all, every single one of you. Thank you so much for the love from the previous episode. 325 people viewing at this moment. I got a bunch of new subscribers. Thank you so much for watching. From the bottom of my heart, I love every single one of you. Thank you for supporting my journey, for supporting everything that I do, because I try to put more into this every single week. I love you all. May the Force be with you always. And remember, this is the way.